Yeah. What is up, everybody? We here.
Okay, it did unmute. Oh, thank God.
Stream froze.
Thought I missed it. It didn't froze.
On Twitch, it did.
Refresh.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah. Refresh. That's
Refresh.
a beautiful button. I should do that more often. Yes.
You'll know when it goes down because I'll tell you it went down.
All right. Yeah. No, I was on pause, to be honest. I switched over to YouTube and made a nice comment and everything else, and I came back to Twitch and it was on pause. But not anymore. We are here.
No. How's it going, everybody, on Twitch and YouTube? Let's see all the subscribers over here on Twitch. What's up, Jen, Hunter? How we all doing? Good show tonight, I must say. We actually have one of our #1 contenders decided tonight as well.
Yes.
Big
Half
night.
of that next championship match is decided. Congratulations to the Wildcat, Balaam Lynx. The next one to hit the 5 in that drive for 5. Congratulations, Balaam. We'll go through that match in a few minutes.
Yeah, because that opened up the show.
It did, and what a way to open the show, too. We talk about high energy and great wrestling to get the crowd on their feet and get the adrenaline pumping and getting everybody ready. Sky and Balaam did just that in the opening match tonight on Ignition. Wicked pisser match to start the show off.
All right, it looks like we have everything set. We have both chats chatting it up. So without further ado, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Reignited Post Show here on Twitch. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as always, and like we were just talking about, in a historic Ignition tonight, as we now have our first #1 contender for the Ignition title that is vacant right now.
Yep.
Before we get into everything that happened tonight, of course, let's introduce the panel for tonight. And by the panel, I mean just our resident masshole himself, Marky Pins.
Good to be back. I missed Tuesday. Was at training, but that's okay. We here tonight, and we doing the Ignition tonight. It's Reignited, baby. Let's get her going tonight. The show started in historic, unprecedented fashion. We now have the first, like I said, competitor for the Ignition title since Sky Horseman cashed it in for that shot at the Charge title. Balaam Lynx hits the drive for 5. The show started off with a bang. Unfortunately, it went out with a whimper yet again. Curtis Cole in the main event. We'll talk about that later, but everything from beginning until main event was fantastic. And Kendrick LaRoe in the main event was extremely good. Cole showed a lot of resilience, but I'm telling you, LaRoe was this close against the wily-eyed veteran of Curtis Cole.
And as far as our other member, the Coastal Crusader, he is running a little bit late tonight. I believe he should be here roughly 20 minutes or so. So
the dudes are still adapting to the time change and all the everything else that we're doing. We're getting it down. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting going, but there will always be a show right here for you.
Yeah,
we thank you for coming.
It's going to take a few weeks to get used to the new schedule. A lot of the dudes have other life stuff prior to the schedule shift, so we're currently working to get everything squared away, and we won't have to worry about people missing shows or anything like that. So give us a few weeks, and we'll have everything squared away, and everybody will be involved.
We'll figure it out.
We also have a Tier 1 subscription from Mr. Fourth Row, subscribing for 28 months, currently on an 18-month streak. Think about that. Just hitting that button 18 straight months in a row.
That's right, baby.
Nobody
running a better merch table in wrestling than Mr. Fourth Row, taking care of business in the Wimmer Arena week in and week out.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
We have Hunter Dillon wearing my lucky Dudes and Belts shirt, as always, supporting my buds.
What's up, Hunter?
Yes, we do have merch. I can't post a link in here quite yet. I haven't figured all that stuff out. We're still learning YouTube, folks, so you're going to have to bear with me on that as well, but we'll be able to post links and all that stuff as we go along, but we'll try and direct you into the right places, of course. What else do I got to do before we start? Oh, yes, of course. This should be a routine now. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, if you don't mind going over to YouTube if you're on Twitch, or if you're watching us on YouTube, please do us a favor. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to Rocky Mountain Pro yet, make sure you do and turn that bell on to get all those notifications so you don't miss a single Rocky Mountain Pro Charge episode, live ignition show, and any and all Dudes and Belts content on Rocky Mountain Pro's YouTube channel. And
please, all we ask, if your face is in that place, do the things that happen at that place. Please and thank you. We appreciate it.
And of course, on Twitch, you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get all the emotes and loyalty badges and all that stuff that you always do over there on Twitch. Speaking of loyalty badges and emotes and stuff like that, we just came out with a new feature on Tuesday. And I'm going to repeat it now. Of course, we have memberships now live on the YouTube channel of Rocky Mountain Pro. So, basically, it is a monthly subscription, $4.99. And with that subscription, you get monthly perks. In this perk pool, we currently have priority chat for all live ignition shows. As you guys saw during the course of the show tonight, Lucas and Derek Stone were reading all of the members, most of the members' comments. Obviously, they can't get to every single one because they do have to commentate matches and all that stuff. But members and super chats and stickers are priority chats for the live shows. Also goes the exact same way with the Dudes and Belts as well. We're also going to have, starting next week, which is the second perk, is a Q&A session for like the last 10 or 15 minutes of every show. So that will be another perk for our members here. Priority chat during the Q&As. You guys are going to be the only ones that will be able to ask questions during that portion of the show. And I think the big one, which makes this membership a steal, is that all Tier 1 members have access to a live members-only stream on the YouTube channel specifically for a stream with an RMP talent. You could have people like you could have people like Reignited. You could have people like Echo. You can have people like, maybe you're a JK Pop fan. I know there's a couple people in the chat.
Like two.
Both, they're still JK Pop fans.
I know. Everybody has a little damage somewhere, and it's okay. We respect all damage here on the show. That's fine.
You can interact with the talent and all that stuff. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a way to get JC on. You never know.
Hey, wouldn't that be interesting, talking to Lockett's champion herself?
I mean, it's definitely an out of the ballpark shot, but I mean, we could give it a try. So,
as long as she promises not to put some kind of hex on us or some kind of weird spell. I'm not trying to have Salem up in here, dude. There's enough going on in regular life as it is. I don't need Salem in here. He's in enough people's up here.
Hey, and also you can also talk to El Presidente, Danger Dean, the president of Rocky Mountain Pro. So if you have any questions or complaints about Rocky Mountain Pro, that's the guy to go to. We might have him on one of those membership-only streams. So membership's definitely worth your buck here on Rocky Mountain Pro's YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that join button. And there's also a gifting section as well. I know on mobile, I think there was an issue earlier on tonight about membership gifting on mobile specifically. I know on desktop, you can definitely gift memberships. If you want to gift a friend a membership or anything like that, it works just like Twitch. You just pick the amount of gifted memberships that you want to donate, and those gifted subs will be either randomly given out to people, or I believe you can specifically pick which person gets the gifted sub. So, that's all I got for the opening.
It's the same way on Twitch. You can either anonymously throw it out into the ether and somebody gets it, or I believe you could donate it directly to somebody. So anything that you feel you'd want to share or become a member, we appreciate it. And we promise your buck will be worth it right here. We've said it before. We'll say it again. It is the best $5 you could spend on the internet is a monthly subscription to Rocky Mountain Pro. On YouTube now, become a member with us. We're changing things up. We're bringing Rocky Mountain Pro into 2023 and moving forward and everything here. The future is here. The future is on YouTube. The future is on Twitch, and we are leading the charge in the world of professional wrestling. And Rocky Mountain Pro will come out on top. Because I'm telling you, the faithful is one hell of a good group of people that we've noticed that donate and give and make noise at the shows. There's nobody better than the RMP faithful, baby. Nobody.
Doesn't get any better than this. Let me tell you, folks, it's been a great community here. And it's just an ever-growing community as well.
Even our favorite Chancla himself, Jet himself, Captain Flip Flop.
Did you just call him a Chancla?
Our favorite Chancla. Because in New England, a Chancla would be called a Flip Flop. So we don't call him Chanclas. He's our favorite Chancla. Jet, thank you for everything that you've done, all the content that you've given us, and becoming a member. He became a member earlier tonight.
Yes, he did.
On YouTube. He did.
Yes, along with the membership, you do have access to all those emotes. Right now, there's only 4 of them live, but the more memberships that we get throughout the course of our time, there will be more slots open for emotes. So as long as there are more memberships going into youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro, you will also be given extra emotes as we go on. All right. Moving on to our first contest of the evening. We had Balaam Lynx versus Sky Hossman. If Balaam wins this match, he becomes the first #1 contender for that vacant Ignition title.
And this is big for Balaam Lynx. This is also big for Sky Hossman. After he cashed in that Ignition title, he lost the match to Remy in a very, very good match, but now he goes back to 0, and he's got to start that drive for 5 again. Balaam Lynx starting this match out at 4 points. This is a big, big match for both of these guys. For Sky, it's a bit of a piece of confidence, working his way back up the ladder, and Balaam knows he's only 1 rung away. And there is a truism in our world that no matter what happens, if you drop a piece of toast with butter on it, it will always land butter side down. And another thing that is true in this world, if you make a cat go flying, it will always land on its feet. And tonight, Balaam Lynx, no matter how far Sky Hossman tried to throw him into the air and toss him around, Balaam forever landed on his feet tonight. And really what I thought was probably the best match of the night between Balaam and Sky Hossman. It was really, really good. The advantage switched back and forth many times after Balaam jumps out really, really quick. Catches him with a big inseguri coming out of a corner, that gorgeous springboard forearm. Then Sky grabs a little bit of an advantage back. That beautiful, like, neck breaker, arm drag into the neck breaker combo that he does. Caught Balaam Lynx off guard. But then Link fires himself up. It was so very back and forth. We see a beautiful standing neck breaker in the corner. Both of these guys had a mission. They were going for each other's top halves. Working the torso, working the arms, working the back of the neck. A lot of neck breakers, a lot of back breakers in this match. Sky, we see come out with that snowplow type backbreaker into the little slam, punches boots and stomps Balaam's chest in. Lynx gets back up, hits his own backbreaker over his knee. So it's like, in anything you can do, I can do better. It's like, I know you've been around here, Sky, but I'm the man now. And Sky's saying, no, man, I had the Ignition title recently. I'm the man, and I'm going to get it back. It was a really good battle of wits. And basically, Balaam outlasted Sky Hossman, where at the end, Lynx just fires up into a huge flurry of a whole bunch of forearms, disorients Sky a ton in the corner, hits a gorgeous howl at the moon coming off of the top rope, that beautiful front flip. And then we see the Fisherman's Buster at the end, and that's all she wrote for Sky Hossman. 1, 2, 3. Big, big, big win for Balaam Lynx. 5 points, punches his ticket into that next Ignition title match. There's only one other person, actually, I'm sorry, 2 other people that have 4 points right now. One of them being Brad Radowski. We haven't seen him in a while, still recuperating from injury. We really wish him the best. Hope to see you soon, bud. But Zamore's knocking on the door with 4 points. He's right there, too. We don't see Zamore in action tonight. So Balaam can kind of rest easy that he won't find out who his opponent is tonight, but maybe in the coming weeks, we'll get this solid effort out of both competitors. But Balaam just had one extra trick in the bag of toys that the cats like to play with at the end. And in the end, the beautiful howl at the moon lands on his feet, as all good cats do. The Fisherman's Buster through the center of the ring. And Balaam Lynx is your next #1 contender. Solid match, John. Really, really solid match out of both competitors.
And the second half of La Isla is going to have a crack at the Ignition Championship later on down the road. obviously we still have
Right.
one more number one contenders slot to fill. Who knows what will happen? And there might be some superstars down near the bottom or in the middle of the pack somewhere. All it takes is for Danger Dean to offer a bounty match
That's
for
it, buddy.
2-3 points or something like that, and it puts you right at the top, if not put you over that 5 point threshold. So you just never know. You're just gonna have to keep
If
on
El,
tuning in every week.
if El Presidente comes out, let's say next week with some kind of 3-point, we've seen a lot of 3-point bounty matches. I mean, there are
Recently,
now,
yeah.
as I count on my sheet right here with the points, I see 5 separate competitors that would get to 5 should there be a 3-point match in the near future, next week or even the week after. So it's still very, very congested at the top. Balaam can rest easy for tonight, but not for too many tonights.
Agreed. All right. Speaking of La Isla and that whole Balaam match that we just saw him win and become the number one contender,
Our Isla.
the former number one contender, Echo, went up against a member of your starting lineup, Briscoe Crown. What did you think about this one? I thought this one was very, very ground heavy.
It really was. You hear Briscoe Crown versus Echo, and you think fast-paced. You think a lot of drop kicks, a lot of running clotheslines, maybe some second rope, some top rope action. These two guys put on a mat wrestling clinic. I think they were honestly inspired by Atiba and Mercury Yaden from Aces Wild just a couple weeks ago, because this was a grappling affair of reversals and takedowns and full Nelsons and everything. There was very little impact in this match, right? Like, as far as we think of like clotheslines and big, huge shots, there really wasn't a lot of it. It was a very ground-based, I'm going to take you down and make you wear out your energy. And then Briscoe gets right back on top of Echo in a nice full Nelson. Nope. Now you're going to use all your energy. This was a battle of cardio in the center of the ring on the mat. And it probably disoriented both wrestlers because they both kind of figured that the other would come out quick. But then it looked like they both had the same game plan on each other of, I'm going to trick him and I'm going to come out slow and grapple in the center and just take an arm and keep it. Or I'm going to take a leg and I'm going to keep it and I'm not going to let him up. There was a lot of grounding your opponents, a lot of amazingly ingenious reversals. We go back and forth through this match for a good solid 5 minutes with absolutely no advantage. Briscoe takes down Echo with a full Nelson and then locks the legs. And then Echo rolls him over for a cradle pin, near fall, and then takes the arm again. Just complete back and forth. Very little strikes, like I said. There was a test of strength. We get to that moment where they lock knuckles and they see, and it's very, very even. And finally, Briscoe says, nah, the hell with this. I'm going to take the first advantage. And he throws a boot into Echo's gut and a couple shots here and there. Echo then again reverses it right back into the full Nelson. And Briscoe just sits out of it. Echoes must not have had all of it. Briscoe just sits right out. Briscoe ends up going behind, sets up for a crowning achievement, hits it, except Echo hand stood. I don't know how you would say that, but hand stood out of it as Briscoe dropped out of it. Coming down for the crowning achievement, Echo landed on his hands and stood on his hands for a good 5-6 seconds. And you should have seen the look of disorientation on Briscoe's face because he hit the ground, but Echo didn't. It was very, very unique way to counter that. Never seen that before. Echo is just a man that continues to dazzle and wow everybody with what he can do and showing you what you never thought another human being could do. He does it with gusto and glee in the center of the ring. And then he basically locks up Echo into like a straitjacket crossface submission. Very unique, looked very, very painful, and Briscoe had to tap before he went out cold. You're going to lose oxygen, you're going to pass out, especially with that straitjacket, your own arms around your own neck. And he does a smart thing with tapping out. Good sign of respect from both of the competitors. We see a handshake at the end. Both guys giving each other props. Fantastic display of mat wrestling and just pure grappling. John, it was so very unique between the two guys. We don't normally see matches like this, but lately this has been Echo's forte. Echo has been throwing a lot of people off with his much more mat-based offense in many of these matches that we've seen in the last few weeks.
Yeah, this match definitely threw me for a loop for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the past few times that these guys have locked up, I mean, it was nothing but pure high-flying offense for the most part. I think this is the first time that we've actually seen the majority of the match between these two actually go to the mat and, for the most part, stay on the mat. And I want to make notice, and I don't know if he's around in either chat, but what in the holy frick was that signature submission move? What would you call that?
I mean, it's echo, like you could call it like the reverberator or something. I don't know. It was very, very unique.
I don't think I've seen it. There was like a version of like the STF like crossface with like a straight jacket mixed in there, like with the arm kind of going across the neck and stuff like that. That was very unique.
It really was a totally different way of applying and locking either a straight jacket or a crossface. It's like combining a weird kind of peanut butter you never had with a jelly you never knew you loved, making a sandwich and being like, wow, I never knew I needed this until right now. It was an ingenious way to lock that. That was really good.
Real quick, did Coastal text you, or is he texting you? Because my phone's charging over there. I don't have my phone on me. I just didn't know if he was trying to get in touch with us.
No.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. What? This is something that we're definitely going to have to talk about a little bit here. Noelle going up against Midnight.
Yeah.
Very eerie start to this match also.
I'd like to ask anybody that was in the Wimmer Arena this evening, whether you are a talent that was in the ring, any of the broadcasters, Derek Stone or Lucas Bradwell, or anybody that was in the crowd tonight, did the temperature drop about 10 degrees when Midnight came out afterwards? Like, I know the lights stayed bluish, but like you could tell that something changed, like the aura of the room kind of changed. It always happens when Midnight comes to the ring. The aura of the room just changes, the whole feel. Like even the way the referees ref, the way the commentators commentate, even the audience gets a lot quieter. It just, the aura of the room changes, and I don't think it's in a negative way. I think everybody's just in an awe around Midnight, the presence that Midnight commands. Not even displays, but commands. And then there's Bud on the outside smiling like the used car salesman that he is. He stumbled into a gold mine right here with Midnight, and he better thank his lucky stars that Midnight has taken a shine to him. Otherwise, he would just end up being another victim. But it seems as though that there is a mutual partnership between the two of them, and it's working out very, very well for the both of them as of right now. It really is. The other thing that threw me for a loop tonight as well is Noelle, the marionette herself, came out without Salem Wolf this evening, without JC, without the rest of the asylum tonight. So we see a Noelle on her own against such a formidable opponent in Midnight. I mean, this is just the immovable object when you look at her in the standing in the center of the ring. But this is a different Noelle as well. So this is the Noelle that is the only Noelle that's able, I believe, to go up against Midnight. I don't think the juvenile delinquent Noelle would last 30 seconds in the ring with Midnight. This marionette Noelle is very, very different. She has no fear, no intimidation, feels next to no pain. Yes, she's been knocked down. Yes, she's been pinned. But at the same point in time, she just keeps coming back at you. Kind of like that one kid who didn't know when to stop, and you saw things, you know, like she doesn't know when to stop. She's not smart enough to know because that part of her head isn't working correctly right now. She manages to make a dent in Midnight, though. This is the first time we've seen this. Lots and lots and lots of kicks. We've seen a lot of the lockets. We've seen Lola do it. Now we see Noelle do it. Stop working on those tree trunk legs that Midnight has, man, to just try to crush out that vertical base. Does a pretty good job. Midnight is still amazingly too powerful, though, for that to like completely stop her and slow her down. We see a couple big, huge knees in the corner, some more punches in the corner, a huge suplex, but Midnight gets up. I don't want to say hobbling, but Midnight gets up limping like a skosh. You can tell that her left leg just isn't 100% right now, but even Midnight's one leg at 80% is still going to be bigger, badder, and stronger than a lot of other people's at 100. Noelle gets a quick advantage towards the end here by a couple big eye rakes to just kind of get some space away from Midnight, but it's just not enough. No matter what Noelle tries, Midnight absorbs it, eats it, and just throws it right back. And we see Midnight pick up Noelle and just plant her down face first. It was Beth Phoenix's old school glam slam. I don't know what Midnight calls it. However, it is formidable, it is impactful. You are hitting the ring face first from 7-8 feet in the air by the time you come straight down. And that's exactly where Noelle's face went. And Midnight ends up winning the match in dominant fashion. Yeah, she took a little bit of punishment, but Midnight, it's going to take a lot more than a few kicks to the leg and a couple eye rakes to keep Midnight down for a 3 count. And right now, there's very few who I see are going to have the potential to do it. Lilith Grimm might be somebody who has the potential to do it. JC would have the potential to do it. But I also see Midnight being able to do it to both of them. John, Midnight has just come on the scene like an absolute freight train in this Locketts division, which has only been heating up to a boiling point. And then Midnight introduces her will into the fray. I mean, this is sending the Locketts. First we had Salem in the Asylum. Now we have Bud and Midnight. What is more action-packed right now than the Locketts division?
And that's only a couple names. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
We didn't see Locketts like Lilith. We didn't see Locketts like JC. We haven't seen Locketts like Miranda Gordy, Malia Hosaka, Paradise, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there is a lot of Locketts that are vying to go after that Locketts championship, and Midnight is slowly starting to impose her way into that conversation.
I agree.
We're really going to have to see what happens later on down the road, because we are just about on the road to Never Broken in March. And as of right now, there's no number one contender for that Locketts championship at the moment. So I'm pretty sure all these Locketts that are in that division right now are just chomping at the bit and trying to find ways to get to that number one contendership and keep getting involved and keep getting into these high profile matches and trying to show Danger Dean that they are worthy of that number one contendership.
And with Midnight having Bud Bellflower at her side, nobody has talked their way into more opportunities for their clients or their teams that they manage. Nobody has done it better than Bud Bellflower over the last
maybe
couple
Preston.
Years.
Maybe Preston.
All right, yeah. You know what? I'll give you that. Preston in recent times has really come in and kind of manipulated things towards his will, but Bud was there first, and Bud did it very well. We saw him do it for the 3-ring circus many, many times in the last couple of years before he was ostracized in the Bud Brown Pants incident. But we've seen him impose his will, and Midnight and Bud together are going to be formidable for the Locketts division. It might even end up worrying Salem, if it's possible, worrying Salem Wolf at some point.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Lilith is also another one that not only has one of the best chances of becoming that number one contender, but Lilith has her eyes set as well on the Asylum and what happened with Noelle, and she's going right after JC. And emotions are high with her. Emotions are high for a lot of people in that Locketts division right now. We're just going to have to wait and see. You guys are just going to have to keep on watching week in and week out.
The emotions are very high, but they're going to have to keep them in check. One mistake, and you can lose a pivotal match. One mental mistake, one over-emotional moment, and the entire drive that you've been doing could really be ended in one quick 1, 2, 3. So we're hoping for Lilith. We're pushing for Lilith, but right now, Midnight is a name that is on everybody's tongue right now, talking about who could potentially be that next number one contender. She has a valid case.
All right, let's now that we have a brief second here, let's hit up a comment from both a Twitch subscriber and a member, shall we? We have Hunter Dillon with the 3 mass whole word of the day, which I believe he is referring to flip-flop and not chonklers.
When I talked about a flip-flop, yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
And we have Mr. Fourth Row saying that, yes, it does get very chilly in there when Midnight comes out.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just tell. I think I think it was Spicer that was refereeing that match, and he looked cold. He looked cold.
Who
Doesn't use flip flop.
Who doesn't use
Chet.
flip flop?
People who call them chunklers don't call them flip flops. That's who doesn't.
Correct. And speaking of Jet, the member on YouTube, Midnight was just showing JC what is coming for her. Hard to argue that point right now.
Not wrong. I'm sure there's going to be a few Lockettes that are going to be trying to show JC what could be coming for her next, but Midnight's doing it a little bit differently than most. And doing it differently like this is really going to get eyes on you more than many.
Oh, why do you think I'm working in RMP hoodies?
RMP hoodies.
Yeah.
Good call, Mr. Fourth Row. Good call. It's an easy selling point. If Midnight's coming out, you need one of these. Get yourself an RMP hoodie at the merch table. You never know when Midnight's coming out.
That's fair enough. All
That's
right.
right.
Moving on to our next matchup of the evening, we had Mick Diamond, the rookie, going one-on-one against one half of your reigning tag team champions, Johnny Casanova and his mask. You might as well make him a second person because he was involved at the end of the match. So
I was going to say, it was almost like a one-man tag team at the end. It was basically Johnny Casanova and Bill Lambier versus Mick Diamond this evening. Johnny coming out with the Bill Lambier shirt. I don't know if he's in chat here or on YouTube. He came out wearing a Bill Lambier shirt. And for all you young ones that don't know who Bill Lambier was, basketball in the NBA in the 70s and 80s was a significantly rougher game. No more of this. If you just like fart sideways next to a guy, it's a technical foul like it is today. Back in the day, guys would throw elbows and back in the day, guys would chuck elbows and knees at each other like it was an RMP event. And the referees would just go, oh, no, we're good. Keep playing. Meanwhile, the guy's broken, putting his eyeball back into his socket. And usually it was either like guys like Dennis Rodman or tough guys like Bill Lambier. I mean, he was regarded as an amazing tough guy. He is over here on Twitch.
He is here in chat.
Johnny Mascanova, how you doing, buddy? What's going on?
Is that going to be the new thing?
Well, he looked like he was almost a little, what's the right word? It looked like it was bothering him wearing a mask, right? Like in the beginning of it, like
it
he was
like
protecting
that mask
his
is
own.
Too big on him.
It looked huge.
It did.
It looked huge. I mean, for a guy who already has a gigantic head, or at least thinks he's that good, that his head's that big, the mask was even bigger. So I don't know which one was bigger, the ego or the mask. Look, Casanova ends up getting it done in this match, does beat Mick Diamond. Mick Diamond has a lot of flurries in this match, though, so we kept Johnny on his toes. It took Johnny basically having to throw a million punches. He had a nice armbar slam, stretches Mick's ankle over the ropes. He's going after basically every joint on the new guy, kind of keeping Mick guessing. And Johnny has that experience. There's no doubt. We joke, we goof, we give him a lot of garbage, we give him the business. But let's just face it, man, the dude is good in the ring. Johnny knows how to find the weakness and exploit it. We see him do it all the time. Usually it's at the end when he goes to the gimmick or the other thing that's when we're like, dude, you were doing it so good. Why? Tonight he doesn't do that, at least until after the bell rings, and at least he waited until the bell rang to really kind of bring out, the assiness that we usually see. But he wrestles a really good match. Mick tries to get his moments in. He fires up late with a couple big clotheslines to Casanova, but Johnny ends up swatting away the third one for the drop kick. And then, I don't know, Johnny, if you're here right now, if you're still here.
Oh, he is.
What do you call that submission? That was like that
was the second
weird
one of the night.
That was crazy. That was like an octopus ankle breaker, neck crusher thing. I mean, I don't know. Mick tapped instantly, so I don't know. It was whatever it was. It was painful as all holy hell. Mick tapped instantly, and I don't blame him. You don't want to stay in a hole for that long. He taps. Casanova holds on to the hold a couple seconds too long, but that is what that is. Nobody's going to really, you're not going to give him any grief for that because it is what it is. But what I am going to give him grief for is ripping off the mask and knocking Mick Diamond in the face with it, knocking Mick Diamond all the way into the club section of the casino. He knocked him hard, man. And I wish somebody came out and took a shot at you when you had the mask off, because you could have deserved that. If Mick had any buds in the back, I know he's new, so he doesn't have a lot of buds in the back just yet. But if he had one bud in the back, I wish he came out and just kind of knocked you right between the eyes, just to give you a taste of what you did after the match. But what more to expect out of a Johnny Casanova? He gets a win. He gets the point. Mick Diamond drops down a point.
Johnny doesn't get a point.
Champion. Right. I was just about to say, doesn't get the point. So he spoils the point for Mick. Mick drops down to -2. But yeah, that submission was crazy, John. I mean, kudos to Johnny Casanova. I'll be the first guy to say it. I am an unbiased journalist. I will give him crap when he deserves it, but I will also give him the props and the kudos when he deserves it. And that submission just really
it is
kerfuffled.
Called the Manila Sunrise.
The Manila Sunrise?
I actually like that name. That's a good name. I like it.
I agree. Like that it's way better than Manila Ice. It's so much better than Manila Ice. It's fantastic. Great finisher.
Although
great finisher.
He did say my submission is better than Echo. So we're gonna do a quick little poll in chat real quick. Type 1 if you like Echo's submission finisher, and type 2 if you like Johnny Casanova's finisher. In both chats, Twitch and YouTube. Let's see it. A little quick one.
I mean, Hunter Dillon says Mascanova gets another win. What else is new? You know what, Hunter? At the very least, like I said, this was legit from bell to bell. He didn't have Brother on the outside. He didn't have Preston on the outside. He came out himself. He channeled his inner Lambeer, right? He channeled all of the 1988 Detroit Pistons. All right. And I'm not a Pistons fan. I'm a Celtics guy. I'm a Boston guy. So I don't like the Pistons. No disrespect, Remy. Not a Detroit Pistons fan. But at the same point in time, he channeled
for good reason.
His inner. Right. Correct. Right. We saw Larry Legend and Isaiah Thomas throw hands. We seen Larry, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale throw hands with Lambeer. We grew up watching that stuff in the 80s. So the Pistons can just go pissed on out of here, and that's fine. But Johnny Casanova, for whatever it's worth, honestly wrestled a fantastic match tonight. Outdid Mick Diamond, and Mick was very, very game to take 0 away from the young man, the most recent graduate of the Al Snow Wrestling Academy.
He's getting better.
He really is. I want to take nothing away from him. He was on the spot. He did not give Johnny a lot of space. It's not like he hit a move and then pandered to the crowd and then Johnny was right there. Mick followed. He came in, had a move, followed up. Did a good job earlier, actually. Caught Johnny Casanova on his heels real quick. Johnny thought he was cool and keeping up with like a little armbar. We see Mick do a nice cartwheel schoolboy roll-up. Granted, he only got a 1 out of it, but Casanova got up with one of those, geez, what the hell was that kind of looks on his faces. So I think that kind of focused Johnny up, and we see what happens when Casanova focuses up. He's not so much the knucklehead that he usually is when Brother and POS is there. He went out and wrestled a really, really good match. Kudos to Mascanova. You heard it from the masshole first. Kudos to Johnny Casanova tonight.
I mean, what do we have for comments from subscribers and members? Let's see. Twitch subscriber. It was reminiscent of Conan's Tequila Sunrise.
So yeah, I
pretty
hear
close.
the Manila Sunrise then. Yep.
Let's see.
At least I know what it's called now, if he ever uses it again.
Right.
If he can remember how to lock it again.
We have Jet, member on YouTube. He was just showing Mick what he needs to do to get the W. And we also have Mr. Fourth Row. Rodman was a Piston, right? I think he was on the Bulls. I think he was a Chicago guy.
In the very beginning of Dennis Rodman's career, I'm going to show my age here.
He was a Piston.
He was a Piston for the first few years, and then went over to Chicago and became part of those legendary Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Bill Cartwright, Steve Kerr, those Bulls.
Coming from a hockey fan, you definitely know a little bit about your b-ball, man.
When I was a kid, I loved basketball. I would watch a Celtics game. Me and my dad, my grandpa used to always go to Celtics games. I've seen Larry and Robert Parrish in the 80s when I was a kid. seen them play. We used to go 3-4 times a year. My dad and like my grandfather, they weren't really Bruins guys, hockey guys, so we always went to Celtics games. But anything after like the mid 90s, I checked out of basketball. Not so much a huge fan anymore.
As far as the small little poll that we have in both chats, we have Echo winning by
as he should.
A commanding score of 3-1, 4-1, I think.
He might, Johnny might have got a few more votes if he didn't feel like he had to knock the dude in the face with the mask at the end of the match.
Maybe.
What does Sunday say? You reap what you sow.
Let's see, we have...
Sorry to use a quote from a fellow knucklehead, but sorry, Johnny.
Mr. Fourth Row subscriber, 1980s basketball was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
There was nothing better. There was nothing better.
It's fantastic.
That was... I mean, people can say what they want about modern day basketball, but I mean, basketball in the 70s and 80s, man, that was basketball.
And even into the early 90s, even from 1980, from 1975 to 1995 was, I believe, like a golden era of the NBA. Some of the greatest players that ever played the game. Granted, I say that because that's the era I grew up in. But maybe if you were born in the 50s and you watched basketball and you got to see guys like Bob Cousy and Dr. J and all that stuff, maybe you thought that was the best era. But growing up when we did, Larry Legend, Michael Jordan, you saw Bill Laimbeer, you saw Isaiah Thomas, we saw the introduction, Jason Kidd when he was like a kid, Grant Hill back in the day, Allen Iverson when he was a kid in like 1994. So we saw the passing of a torch of a generation into what became another great generation. But those tough guys in the 80s, man, that's these soft guys now wouldn't be able to deal with it now. They wouldn't deal with those guys.
And before we continue on, we are going to continue on with tonight's ignition. But we have one more comment from Lucas Bradwell with his opinion. Dude, every team had a legit superstar in the 80s, and he wasn't wrong.
No, fact.
Everything was very much equal, even. Mm-hmm. There was no overpriced teams that could pay their way to a championship nowadays.
Like every team had like the big center and a really good point guard. Like every team, every single team. The action was fast and furious. And referees, you had to basically draw blood to get a call back in the day, like fouls like that.
Yeah, you had to basically they ate their whistles back then.
They really did. They let the guys play. They let the boys play. They let the boys decide the game, and the referees did not decide the games back in the day. They really didn't. It was a very different era. Wicked different era.
All right. Let's get back on to wrestling.
Okay, yeah.
We could talk about sports all night, but moving on here. Got another very good match here. We had Abatu from your starting lineup going one-on-one with Atiba. Big Teebs.
Nuts.
Yes, correct.
Hey, John. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Big Teebs.
Big Teebs who?
Big Teebs. Nuts. I'll tell you, he hasn't done it in a while.
No, he hasn't.
But I've been stalling on that joke for a long time. And of course, I bring it out of the night that he doesn't use it. And I'm very surprised he didn't. Because a guy like Abatu, who's, I mean, let's face it, Atiba is not a small man at all. He is a large dude. We've seen him face to face. I shook the man's hand. He's got a big, strong hand. And then you look at Abatu, and Abatu has basically got him 2-1. In no way, when I saw the beginning of this match, did I ever think that this match would actually get to a bell at the end after a 1-2-3. I could have sworn Atiba was going to go to the well at the end of the match and go lower like he's always sworn he would with anybody, and we would see that. We don't end up seeing that. What we really see is a really good power versus power match. Atiba really stepped up against the big guy. Now, Abatu comes out for your starting lineup, really trying to right the ship, because right now your starting lineup is down down 0-1. They lost in the first match. Briscoe Crown lost to Echo in a beautiful, we talked about that mat wrestling match earlier. It was a gorgeous match. But your starting lineup's down 0-1 right now. So Abatu comes in, really tries to right the ship in his kind of own way. Atiba doesn't start it very well, unless this was the plan to get the big guy all riled up and everything. But he walked right up to a Batu and just smacked him across the face paint, like right in the mug. And that sends a Batu into an absolute rage. And he goes absolutely banana sandwich on Atiba in the corner. Just huge power shots and body shots. He beals him almost out of the ring from corner to corner. Huge hip toss. Must have got him 10 feet up in the air in the hip toss. Absolutely huge. Big sidewalk slam. And Atiba's paying the price very, very early for that act of disrespect to a Batu's face. Now, Atiba is showing that there was a game plan here, because after he smacks a Batu in the face and eats a whole bunch of flurry of moves, then he goes over and he starts messing with Teddy, the towel boy. And this starts to become a theme through the course of the evening, is that when Teddy's out there with somebody from your starting lineup, the other person decides that they're going to mess with Teddy to get into their opponent's mind. And it works both times. So both of the bad guys here, both of the heels, Atiba, and then later on, we're going to see Curtis Cole be an absolute jackass and do it, but also do it to a fruition point where it works for them. Once a Batu comes out to try to get Atiba off of Teddy, that's when Atiba just goes to work, plants a Batu's face into the ring post, and then just chucks him over into the barrier, like the big steel guard rails that they have out there, and a Batu goes through them and knocks over 4 or 5 of them, because they're all interconnected. So a Batu's down, he's got barriers and gates all over him, he's an absolute mess. And Atiba just doesn't stop, man. He keeps it going with the shots and the kicks. He brings those ruckus chops that he likes to bring, them martial arts chops, right onto Batu's back and the top of his head. I mean, he's absolutely bringing it. Batu gets to a point now where he's been feeling this pain, and I think it looks like he gets a surge of adrenaline, because all the shots aren't working after a few minutes. After a near fall, he gets up and Atiba keeps bringing the shots, and now Batu's absorbing them, and he's getting some energy from them, and the crowd's starting to get in, and he can feel it, and it starts getting up, and we're feeling a crescendo point coming, and Batu fights up and a couple big shoulder blocks, but then just like that, Atiba just hits the brakes going 90 miles an hour on the highway with a huge jawbreaker and knocks a Batu into the far corner. A Batu then comes back and misses a big elbow as he's kind of coming back. Atiba goes outside after he puts a Batu down, grabs Teddy and brings Teddy into the ring, like into the corner. And he's like messing with him. He's like face washing him, and he's messing with him. And he's about to throw this haymaker at him. Batu catches him. But as he catches him, he spins him back and nails him with a sky high, just as high as that earlier hip toss that he got him up there. But the referee and Teddy are arguing in the corner. Teddy, get the hell out of the ring. Your guy just hit the move. Atiba is flat on his back, staring up at the lights. I would have already gotten to a 7 count by that point, man. Get out of the ring. By the time Teddy finally gets out, Ref Spitzer gets back over there, and we get a 2.5. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Teddy, you got to stop messing with your guy. And it all goes to hell for a Batu after that. I mean, the towel's in the ring. Atiba picks up the towel, throws it at a Batu, and in the disorientation, Atiba hits the Dragon's Fang knee, like the big running knee to his face. And then we see that super flapjack where he gets him up, but it's more of like a twist and a bomb at the end. And a Batu goes out. Now he's staring up at the lights, and Atiba pins him for the 1, 2, and then the 3. And Atiba gets the point here when it looked like a Batu should have had it. Man, Coach Mack, we miss you, bro. There's been a little bit. Last week, everything was going great. You're starting lineup 3-0. John, this week, right now, 0-2. Little confusion with Teddy messing around with things. I know your starting lineup has really been kicking ass and doing good things, but I think Teddy messed this one up, man, tonight for big old Batu.
I don't think it's just Batu. I think Teddy had a pretty rough night tonight.
Oh, he did. It got worse.
It got a lot worse. Yeah, that whole match was great. Hard hitting the entire time. Really great match. I think this is probably the best match that I've seen a Batu in a very long time. Back to Legion days almost.
He was good. He looked really good. He
Yeah.
looked strong. It was a hoss fight type match with a guy like Atiba, like elevated his game to hoss fight status tonight.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, even though your starting lineup, 2 out of the 3 members are in that race for the 5. They're definitely missing Coach Mack.
Yeah.
And even though Coach Mack can be annoying at times, especially to a few people.
Oh, I love the whistle. I don't care. I love that whistle, man. I'm telling you, I love it. Bring it.
I'll tell you right now, your starting lineup is missing him dearly. It's that high energy that he brings every week to those guys.
You said it. That's what it is. It's that adrenaline shot in the arm. Him on the outside, banging the ring and yelling and screaming and having the play written out. You know, it's that unseen element.
And I can't believe I'm going to say this because I know that when this happened, things don't go well for your starting lineup. But I think we all miss the interview during the match.
Honestly, I mean, the interview oftentimes was the literal keyway for the match to start going downhill for your starting lineup. However, once that interview would be over, it's almost like kryptonite, like Superman got rid of the kryptonite necklace that Lex Luthor put on him. And now all of a sudden he got his powers back. And your starting lineup would go right back and get in right back into like kick-ass mode. But yeah, dude, I miss the coach. I miss the Mac. I miss the Mac. We need the return of the Mac.
Teddy hasn't really been putting himself and his guys in good situations lately, and it happened in this match, and it'll definitely happen in the next match because he was unfortunately involved in that match as well, whether he wanted to or not. I think there definitely needs to be some changes on the sidelines, if you know what I mean.
Dude, let's put it this way. Let's face it. Okay, you can only catch lightning in a bottle once. There's only one Bobby Boucher. There will only be one water boy that can come back at halftime in the Mud Bowl, in the Bourbon Bowl in Louisiana and win the Bourbon Bowl. There's only one Bobby Boucher, and I'm sorry, Teddy the Towel Boy is not RMP's Bobby Boucher. It's just not happening, man. There's a lot of disorganization in your starting lineup right now. Briscoe, when Briscoe has gone out there and had the reins and kind of been like, you know, the assistant captain when he shows up and he's the second guy in charge, you know, we've seen good things happen. When Teddy's out there, I just don't know that the XP bar is big enough. It's not that he's doing anything on purpose, because I don't think he is. I don't think he's doing anything to sabotage your starting lineup. To be honest, I think he's taking too many shots in the head from people like Atiba, from people like Punchy Face Ryan Justice, who's taking liberties with Teddy and Tommy and all of the 3 triplets. I really think he's just taking a few too many eggs in the head to kind of really understand the game plan of A to Zinc of how the match is going to go from bell to bell. So, Coach, we need you, bro. We need you.
It's just like in sports. You got to put yourself in a position to win every time. Correct?
That's right.
Unfortunately, Tommy did not put himself in a very good position to help your starting lineup win tonight.
No, he did.
So,
no, he did.
I don't know.
Took too much time, argued with the ref in the corner. Should have just got out of there the minute that he saw Batu getting Atiba up for that big sky high.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that one on Tommy tonight.
At that moment, you know, just get happy.
Teddy, right? I'm getting confused.
Towboy, yeah.
I'm getting confused by the triplets.
They are triplets, so, and they're wicked triplets. Like, they are wicked triplets. So it's an honest mistake. But the minute that he's seen Atiba going up through the roof of the Wimmer, get the heck out of the ring, bro. Let your man do the job. Let the ref make the count and walk out raising your man's hand. If a Batu will let you, if he doesn't eat your hand, he might be hungry. He might want a snack. I don't know. It's a Batu. We don't know. We don't know.
All right, what do we have here for subscribers and members here on Twitch and YouTube? Jet, he can come back but lose the whistle.
Whatever, Chunkla.
Why do you call him a Chunkla?
Because he's a flip-flop.
Oh, I see the pun there.
You get it?
Yeah.
This is art.
I don't know why it took me too long, but I get it now. I got it.
I'm expanding. The mass hole is expanding his vocabulary to include words he's never heard before up until just not too long ago.
Yeah, but I should have realized that.
That's all right.
Let's see. We have
Jet's a good egg. I like Jet. He can give it and he can take it too. So Jet, we like you. We give you the business. You give it back. I respect that.
All right. We have Hunter Dillon. We miss you, Coach Mac.
Gracias, through.
Let's see.
Let me go Jet flip flop. Oh, I want to see a sign at the Wimmer that says Jet equals Chunkla.
All right, I think that's it for recent members and subscribers. All right. Main event time, Marky.
Yeah. This guy.
Curtis
again.
Cole going one-on-one with the other member of your style lineup, Kendrick LaRoe, with Teddy being out there as well.
Listen, I cannot keep up with all the faces of Cole. All right, we've heard of the faces of Foley.
When did he become? When did he become having a split personality?
I can't keep up with this guy. But 1 minute he's the angriest human being that has ever been humaned. The next minute, all of a sudden, he was in Hawaii for 3 days with a new partner that he has, this new girl he's been dating, and they went all the way to Hawaii. He was drinking coconut drinks
For 3 days.
That's what he said.
3 days.
That they were there for a couple-day vacation, and they were looking at the beautiful sunset. And he had a realization, like he had an epiphany, I think they would call it, when she said that everybody just is the way God made them. And you can believe that. You cannot believe that. It's not my place to tell you what it is, but Curtis Cole believes that. And he even goes out on a limb. This is a totally backwards Curtis Cole from last week. And I know right now Lucas is vibrating that I'm not calling him Karen. But I want to give him 3 seconds before I eviscerate him. Because I honestly thought for 3 seconds, a little bit of gullibility was inside of me where I thought this guy was actually going to apologize and turn out to maybe be a decent human. Turns out the whole thing is a ruse, a facade, a ploy to just get us lulled in, so we had to listen to more and more of his verbal diarrhea in the middle of the ring, taking up valuable time with a 50-cent shirt that he got somewhere and a hat that he probably stole from a poor 80-year-old lady that was walking around with it on. This man is a human jackass. Insult and brew. He insults Lucas. He insults us some more, calling us like basement-dwelling virgins and all this other thing that he had to look up in the dictionary to understand what definitions of certain words meant. Congratulations, you learned how to use a dictionary. I'm so happy for you, Curtis Cole, that the light has finally shone and you could finally see it. Behind
Lucas
those
is going off, man. Lucas goes,
no,
and his girlfriend is a toothless prostitute.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like, I wouldn't doubt if the whole story was manipulated.
Yikes.
And he was just reading a book and came up with this story in an absolute, like, Mary Jane induced, like, hysteria session. I wouldn't doubt if all of this was a boatload of garbage. But, I mean, Curtis Cole is the Karen that nobody asked for on Thursday Night Ignition. We just don't need it anymore. The whining and the complaining. And then he gives Kendrick a boatload of garbage, and Kendrick comes out, and Kendrick is taking none of it tonight. Absolutely none of it. Curtis tries to just come out with the strikes and the different things. It's not going to work. He tries a big cheap shot right off the gate, and it's just not going to work, man. LaRoe just tosses him aside, slams him down a whole bunch of times, hard buckles him big time. Cole goes into the buckle and bounces out about 4 feet and lands directly on his ass, right on his intelligence piece, which wasn't a bad thing right there. And you could tell he was stunned. He didn't know what to do because he was sitting on it at the moment, so there was nothing he could do. Big, huge forearm and a clothesline sends Cole flying over the top rope to the outside, and LaRoe just keeps going, man. Keeps going with the barrels, knocking him into the ring post, face first in the apron, which is the hottest part of the ring. But to be honest, you hit Cole in the head, it's not doing any damage. There's nothing in there. It's just joggling around a bunch of air, and there's a couple little, like, moths flying around in there that were like, oh, what was that? So it's really not that big of a deal. Cole gets A couple minutes of offense in here, he does come up and does figure out to take Kendrick down. He's got to just lock something in real quick, and he's got to get something going here. He puts a big elbow in the back of Kendrick's neck, and then another one, and then another one, and another one, and he gets him up high, and he gets him thinking about it. You hurt a man's neck, and that'll create pain all the way down the spine, all the way into the legs, all the way down the arms. So Cole starts working that top of that neck, and he bites Kendrick like right on the top of the dome piece, dude. Like he tries to take a bite out of his head like Kendrick was a cheeseburger. Kendrick ain't no cheeseburger, dude. Like there's no ketchup to be found. We're not doing this right now, Cole. You should have gotten a snack back at catering earlier. That pisses off LaRoe in the corner. Big, huge chop, nice clothesline. And then Cole gets to the outside and knocks Teddy out. Like after this, once Cole kind of recovers after a couple shots, he rolls to the outside, goes right up to Teddy, grabs him by the shirt, and just punches him right in the mush. Teddy is having a really crappy night tonight, man. Your starting lineup's having a real tough time, and Teddy not having Briscoe out there, not having a Batu, not having Coach. He's out there defenseless, man, and you got Cole taking the water bottle and just being an absolute freaking knucklehead on the outside, yelling at the crowd, doing everything. LaRoe just goes absolutely nuts on this. Now this pisses him off that now Teddy's outside. He goes out and he gets Cole, brings him back into the ring. A couple big, huge shots. This is impressive. Don't care who you are. Don't care how much wrestling you've watched. Okay, LaRoe gets Curtis Cole up in a standing stalling suplex for over 20 seconds. Curtis Cole is upside down, staring at the world, wondering why his whole world's upside down. Bro, this is exact ramifications of the choices that you make. That your world stayed 20 seconds upside down, and then you met the ring when you didn't want to, when all the blood was in your head. And it didn't go so good for you after that, man. That was a huge, huge overhead suplex. And then Kendrick hits that beautiful frogton, that standing like frog senton where he coils and then uncoils, snaps himself back on you, gets a wicked 2.5 count out of that. And now Kendrick is rolling strong. The adrenaline's going. Cole ends up working his way up. Couple drop kicks, no effect. LaRoe is absorbing them, getting mad, yelling and screaming. Finally, Cole manages to get an enziguri to the back of his head. And again, now we get to the back of that neck again that he weakened earlier, that he kind of like, you know, worked on, and it's still kind of buzzing. You get that enziguri right in that same spot, and it does knock him for a loop. Goes to the top, goes for the big drop kick, gets it, gets a near fall. Kendrick ends up getting up, pushes him away, gets some space. We see the big old boot, and now here he comes. Now Kendrick's feeling it again, that next shot of adrenaline. They talk about that first wind is one thing. The second wind usually comes. It doesn't go as long, but I'm telling you, it's just as powerful as you walked in. Big old boot, and he picked up Curtis Cole, just deadlift, gut wrench, suplexed him. And nobody was happier than the entire Rocky Mountain Pro faithful to just see Curtis Cole go flying in every single direction on the compass rose that was possible to send him flying. Kendrick LaRoe granted all of our birthday wishes with this match tonight, except for at the very end, man. I'm telling you, Cole gets into a point where Kendrick tossed him off the top. Cole kind of went. I think he was going to drag him over for either that big blockbuster that he likes to do, but he gets him off the top rope, gets him down. Curtis Cole rakes the eyes and a quick contra code. That big, huge leg drop, that standing leg drop. And that's one thing, as much as I got to be unbiased. I did it for Casanova earlier. I got to do something for Cole here. One thing the man can do is the man has amazing ups. And you look at a dude like Kendrick LaRoe that I think is 6'5", 6'6", and Cole's no 5'8" guy either. Cole's a big dude, but he gets that leg from a standing position across Kendrick's neck and gets him down with that contra code. And the match is over quicker than a hiccup. Kendrick had tried to get that Superdome in, but Curtis Cole was just so evasive, using every tool in the arsenal. Look, Johnny, Curtis Cole is an asshole. I'm going to say it right now, and that's the only swear I'm going to let out. But this man is exactly that. But what we saw at the end of this was a man who pulled out all the XP that he could to get a win over a younger, hungrier lion. But still Curtis Cole showing that he still has more of the XP and walks out with the win.
Well, it's nothing new, and you can't deny what he's done. Look, I've been saying it for a while, even before he started going ham on us, or supposedly everything that we say. Um, I've always given that man credit. I mean, there's a reason why he's a Rocky Mountain Pro champion, he's a former Charge champion, and he's a multiple time tag team champion. He's probably going to be in the Rocky Mountain Pro Hall of Fame someday. Let's be completely honest. That's just where his career is going right now. And there's no denying that. There's no denying his skill. There's no denying his talent. What Kendrick did tonight was, I honestly think that was probably the best match I've seen Kendrick Lareau in, period, in the story. And again, he just continues to make a path and create his own way into this company and trying to get himself into a position where he could, really do some damage and really become a huge name in this company. And he's on the right track for it. I mean, granted he lost tonight, but man, what a showing from Kendrick Lareau, and you can't take anything away from Kendrick in this match whatsoever.
Absolutely none, dude. He took Curtis Cole to the limit, and it took Cole to just rip out his out of nowhere move, which is that contra code. That leg drop is devastating at the very end. And if you're Kendrick, you're coming down from 6'6". It's a long way down with a leg in your throat, especially after he's already worked the back of your neck, and now you're getting a leg in the front of it. Man, that's a weak spot on any man. I don't care if you're 5'5" or 7'5". That little connection between the base of your brain and your torso, that'll always be a weak spot. And Curtis Cole kind of fished it out and found a way to get it done tonight. As much as we hate him, as much of a snap ahead and a peck ahead as he's been over the last couple of weeks, he's finding ways to win matches. Granted, tonight he didn't have to use the knucks to do it. He actually wrestled a good match, even though he took liberties with Teddy on the outside. The man wrestled a good match.
But you know what? You can't really blame Curtis in that situation, because you saw what happened in the match before when Teddy got in the ring. Granted, not by his own power, but Teddy interfered in a match. Granted, he cost his teammate the match.
He did.
But at the same time, he got in the ring physically, where he could have easily either fought back, pushed Atiba away, and just kind of stepped aside. But instead, he let Atiba grab him, throw him in the ring, and then he decided to take his sweet-ass time to get out of the ring, which cost Abatu that match. If I'm Curtis Cole, I don't want any distractions outside the ring. End of story right there. I mean, right. Who knows? Maybe Teddy probably had enough could have had enough and interfered in that match and could have cost Curtis that match as well. Who knows?
I mean, Cole took liberties during the match. He grabbed the squirt bottle, squirted Teddy in the face, and then hit him in the head with the bottle and was kicking the towel around. So, yeah, it might have gotten to a boiling point where Teddy got pissed and maybe tripped him up or something. I agree with you. You can't really blame Cole.
You can't really take chances like that. Now, if I'm in a match and I have somebody of my if I have a friend of my opponent's outside the ring, that who knows whether he's going to interfere or not, I want him out of the picture, right? You would think?
Yep.
Granted.
We talk about it all the time with JK Pop when one of them is in a singles match, or when like Preston is on the outside kind of a situation. We talk about this all the time.
Now, granted, I don't think Teddy's that much of an opposing figure to get really physical with a lot of people on the roster just yet, but
all it takes is one thing.
All it takes is a trip. You don't you don't have to be a 6'5", 300-pound jag dude to trip a guy. You know what I mean? So,
especially when he's already running ropes and there's already momentum involved, all it takes is just kind of flicking his shoe to the side and Cole's going face down, and now here's the distraction. You yell at Teddy. Next thing you know, you're in a Superdome and your lights are closing on you and you just passed out.
Yeah, so
like that.
You just never know. So I'm not gonna completely hop on Curtis Cole on that, nor am I gonna really hop on Curtis Cole for all the negatory comments that he had towards us, because quite frankly, I don't care.
Right.
You know, thick skin, don't give a crap.
No, when it comes to us, we'll give it back. You're not gonna intimidate us verbally, Curtis. It's just not going to happen.
Plus, TikTok. I'm still waiting on a response from the call out from last week. You know, we did invite you to come on the show and voice your opinions. I still haven't heard a response from Mr. Curtis Cole.
Fact.
So
I'm more pissed.
That's all I got to say right there. I mean, if you're going to talk all this smack, at least say it to our faces. Virtually, right. Of course, because we can't be there because we're 2,000 miles away. But you have a chance to do it virtually.
It's close enough. Other superstars have taken their shots at us here. We've had the Wake on. We've had JK Pop. We've had plenty of people. We've had the West Texas Legacy. You had something to say to us. Come on in and let's say it. Let's be grown men to each other. I'm more pissed that he's going after a broadcaster in Lucas who apparently has pissed him off something fierce, which I don't know what Lucas did to piss him off so bad. It's just a Karen trying to see the manager not getting their way and then just yelling at somebody that works there, like the poor cashier, like it's her fault that you woke up this morning with 3 hairs across your ass. It's not the cashier's fault. It's not Lucas's fault. And now you're giving Brew a whole bunch of garbage. Brew's having a wicked hard time, like mentally and physically. Like he's going through some stuff that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. And here you come out 2 weeks in a row now.
Dread Roberts too on charge.
Right. And Cole taking a perfect advantage of the situation and calling out Brewmark, saying he's a bad wrestler and what the hell is wrong with you? You really want to poke the bear that hard? You want to throw that much gasoline on a fire? You better be careful when you throw that much gas on a fire. Eventually, the fire follows the gasoline back to the can that you're holding, and the can blows up. Be very careful, Curtis Cole, that gas can does not blow up in your hand. Be very, very careful.
And who knows? Maybe if Curtis Cole decides to respond to the call out of myself and the dudes, then maybe that'll be the first membership only stream that we have here on YouTube.
I'd be down for that. He had a lot to say, and we gave him an opportunity to come here and say it, and he hasn't even responded to you, correct?
Nothing yet. My DMs are empty currently at the moment. So
just snap ahead, dude. He's a freaking snap ahead.
And Lucas is just going. Lucas goes, I dare Karen to try giving me the Teddy treatment. He's just going off.
Lucas was fired up tonight. No. This is reaching a boiling point here. And this is a different thing with us. We're sitting here on the show and we're going verbal with Curtis Cole. Verbal for verbal. He started it. We're responding. Okay, that's good. Lucas Bradwell is sitting in the commentator's desk every single Thursday night with Derek Stone. He has to look this absolute piece of human garbage in the face once a week and listen to this crap and smell the man that hasn't taken a shower since they found him in the desert somewhere. We didn't forget about that, Curtis. We didn't forget that. Yeah, we didn't forget that at all. And the people who found you were the first people you backstabbed. You're a great man. One for the ages. But yeah, no, like he has to stay there. Lucas Bradwell has to stay there and deal with this face-to-face. Brewmark is there and will have to deal with this face-to-face. The coming wave, the tornado wave of broken hopes and dreams that is going to be Curtis Cole's future is coming. Be careful that gas can does not blow up in your hand, man. Yes, Queen Vampire says it perfectly. Curtis Cole sucks. Yes.
Ooh.
Boo.
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 Let's see. We have any more member?
That man.
Have any more member chats? Next week we're going to be starting the Q&A session for all members, so make sure you join the membership program here at youtube.com/RockyMountainPro and make sure you get your $4.99 monthly subscription in so you can get the Q&A, you can get priority chat for Ignition Live, and we just mentioned, who knows, maybe Curtis Cole will be the first one, but you will be in the exclusive membership only stream with RMP talent, where you can actually talk to talent through chat, and you guys will be the only ones that gets to interact with that RMP talent. So pretty cool thing, pretty cool perks on this membership. Let's see, what else? We have Teddy needs to stay in the back if he doesn't want to get hurt. Managers always have a target on them to equal the odds. Says Jet.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Jet. However, let's look at Facts. Look at what has happened since Teddy has been coming out, since Coach kind of hasn't been around for a while. Really and honestly, how many times has Teddy gotten involved? When has he showed the moxie and the gumption to actually physically involve himself? At what point has he ever? And don't give me this, well, he could have. That's not what I asked you. When has he ever physically involved himself? He looks like he shouldn't even be next to, like when Abatu gets in the ring, when he comes out with Abatu, he looks like he's standing next to Abatu, and Abatu looks like he's going to eat him. Like, he's not even going to mess with his own guy. Why would he mess with the other guy? And two guys tonight took liberties with him when he did not interject himself at all. Now, am I saying that Teddy is totally innocent? No, because Teddy could have gotten the hell out of Dodge when somebody came at him. He could have gotten out of the ring when Abatu was about to hit that sky high. So it's a little bit of 50-50 here. But to knock the kid out, it's a little bit over the line. But I also see the point of eliminating the manager of the other guy. But usually you wait until he did something first. Cole kind of went proactive on that one and made sure it didn't happen. I don't know, maybe Cole had a bad dream on the sands of the Hawaiian beaches when he was there. Too many
Maybe
little
he was still
drinks.
dreaming of his girlfriend. Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
And that was the main event of tonight's Ignition, so...
It was awfully wet.
What was what?
Yeah, it was a good show. It was a very good show tonight.
Whoa. What was awful?
You said no. You said Cole had a dream. And it was a great show tonight. I thought it was a fantastic show top to bottom. Balaam punching his ticket to the Ignition Championship match was amazing. The match with Briscoe and Echo, if you didn't see the whole thing, go back and watch it. It's going to change your perspective on these two guys. It opened up a brand new door to how good these guys are. They're not as one-dimensional as maybe they use their moves in the past. They're showing that, like ogres, they have layers, that they bring the speed, the quickness, and the aerial, but that they'll also ground you in the mat with the arm locks and the full Nelsons and the straight jackets, like that beautiful submission from Echo. A lot of really, really good wrestling. Mick Diamond being this close to something tonight, his first win is only right around the corner. Bill Lambier, otherwise known as Johnny Mascanova, coming out with the win, using the mask in perfect JK Pop fashion at the end of the match after the bell. Dude, just a great show from top to bottom. The Haas fight with Atiba and Abatu, really, really good, man. Ignition's so solid right now, bro. So solid, guys.
It's the hottest thing going. I'm pretty sure we actually had record numbers tonight for Ignition as well on YouTube. So it was always good. Jesus, I'm getting tired. It's a good sight to see. That's for sure.
It is.
So other than that, there's no live shows this weekend. We all know we got the Rumble coming up on Saturday. On Sunday, however, we do have our 3-year anniversary stream.
3 years, guy.
Yeah.
3 years.
And we'll be hanging out with all chats, just, reminiscing on the 3 years and all that stuff. We are going to have an announcement on Sunday as well as it pertains to the future of that show, as a matter of fact. But until then, you guys can look forward to at least the shenanigans that we're hopefully going to bring to you guys. Because the announcement is
everybody in chat.
Because tonight's actually going to be not tonight. Sunday is going to be a big night for us, and there is going to be changes. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up ahead of time, what's going to happen. So
everybody with the happy anniversary and the congrats. Thank you very much to everybody in chat. This has been one hell of a ride. Rocky Mountain Pro, thank you, the whole faithful. We thank you all. This has been a great ride. What a roller coaster it's been. And right now, everything is on the way up, man. And we're just proud to be here. We are not just here so we don't get fined. We are here because we love this, and this is fantastic. And RMP is the place for us. And we thank everybody for accepting us and welcoming us into this family as well. 3 years.
You couldn't have said it any better.
Thank you, man.
It started off with this duo right here, as a matter of fact.
It was us in the beginning.
So
Johnny's house at 1 o'clock in the morning. We get done streaming at what, 4:30 in the morning?
And yes, I don't have a basement.
No,
I don't have a
you don't have
basement.
a basement. And yeah, have kids, not virgin. Shut your mouth, Cole.
Okay.
Shut your mouth.
Okay.
No, he said it. I didn't.
I know.
Shut your mouth, Cole.
I know.
I haven't gone there with you. You want to go there? We can go there. This guy's got the tongue of 5 sailors put together. Don't stop. Don't stop.
All right. Actually,
Anyway, we should give
Hold
him
up.
the points rundown.
yes, we will do that in 2 seconds.
Okay.
I am going to say a comment in YouTube that's not a member, but he is Rocky Mountain Pro Talent, so he is an exception. Mr. Bud Bellflower himself. So how's it going, Bud?
Rick, how you doing, bud? What's up?
He goes, that's twice as long as I did the rewind. I'm genuinely impressed. Speaking of the rewind, there's going to be another announcement about that as well. So,
You have to come here Sunday and check us out. We got a lot of news to pass along.
yeah,
Thank you, bud.
And then,
Sincerely, thank you.
and then the founder of RMP, thank you to all the new members. Yes, thank you for everybody who joined tonight and who joined on Tuesday. We had quite a bit join on Tuesday as well. So we're just going to get the word out. I mean, it's a really good deal, guys. And I wouldn't, miss this opportunity because, I mean, the perks that you get and the exclusive content that you're going to get as well every month is pretty remarkable. So make sure you don't miss out on that opportunity. And if you know somebody and you want to gift them a membership, that's available too. So
The best $5-6 you could spend on the internet for a month of premium access to Rocky Mountain Pro, the shows, Ignition, live chat with the commentators. And then in that particular month, if there is a live event like a pay-per-view, Never Broken coming up, Peak of the Pack will be coming up shortly after that. And then we'll be at milestone 13. And it's going to be here faster than we know it. It's all going to be worth watching. It will be the best $6 a month that you put on your computer. I promise you. I promise you.
And I was just going to say something else. God damn it.
My bad. Okay, you think of that. Let me give him the points rundown real quick.
Go for it.
For Ignition, and then we'll let you throw it out and close the show out. We'll take care of business. So tonight, Balaam Lynx completes his drive for 5. Balaam's sitting at the top of the Ignition leaderboard with 5 points, awaiting another number 1 contender so that we can have our second Ignition championship match. Balaam will be a part of that. There are 2 other superstars sitting at 4 points right now at this moment in time. Brad Radowski, the Vibe himself. Again, like I said earlier, we wish him well. Hopefully he's recuperating and he's back sooner rather than later. We do miss you, Vibe, even though you had one kind of way about you, man. The show just hasn't had that vibe, man, without you and all of the kombucha here, dude. We miss you. But anyway, Zamore, also a dangerous, dangerous threat. Another man that Mr. Bud Bellflower knows very, very well over here on the YouTube chat, is also sitting at 4 points. So they are both 1 point away from punching in their ticket to Balaam Lynx. Now, as it stands right now, we only have 1 superstar sitting at 3 points. He's sitting at 3 all by himself, and that's the final boss, Bruce Waynes. But right now, we don't know what's going on. Well, we don't know. Nothing has been said. He did lose that match to Dak Draper the other night, and he did say he was sick and tired. And that before that match started, he said he's sick and tired of this losing streak that he's been on. And if he loses, he's done. We don't know. He wasn't there tonight. We didn't hear anything from Bruce. I'm keeping him on my sheet at 3 points because you just never know. One thing we've learned in wrestling is that you never say never because things change faster than we're aware that they were going to change to begin with. So who only knows? So Bruce Wayne's sitting at 3. As I see it right here, I have 3 superstars sitting at 2 points. Briscoe Crown, Brew himself, the Buffalo, sitting at 2, and Rocky Mountain Dragon tonight with the big win over Abatu is now at 2 points as well. Sitting at 1, we still have a menagerie of superstars sitting at 1. We have Damon Ace, Ray Leon, Angel Del Paz, Niles Plonk, Derek Stone, and Curtis Cole himself, Sir Karen, has a point. He's in the plus column. He's worked his way up from a -2, I think, at one point. He's now in the plus. He's at +1. And then we do have a few superstars who dropped to 0. Sky Hossman dropped back down to 0. Kendrick LaRoe dropped back down to 0. And Abatu and Echo also got themselves to 0. Although Echo got himself to 0 with a win tonight. He got a point. So now he's back at par. So a lot of mixing, a lot of matching. But up at the top, there's a bunch with 2, Bruce Wayne's with 3, and then 2 at 4. So Ignition is hot right now, man. It is hotter than the fires that they show on the starting soon screen. Next week could be huge. You never know who's going to punch their ticket next. Next Tuesday, you got to check it out. 6:15 Mountain Time, right here on the YouTube channel, man. Check it out.
And I didn't remember what I was going to say still, so we're just going to forget about it.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yep.
I tried to stall as long as I could.
Nope, didn't work.
Shit.
All right.
Okay, well. We tried, man. I tried so hard.
One last look at our subscribers and members of this evening before we wrap it up for tonight. I do see all the happy anniversaries and all that stuff. We greatly appreciate all you guys over there on Twitch. We spend most of our time over there, so as always, we appreciate you guys. As far as YouTube, if they let Bruce stay in RMP, has double standards.
I offer you this. Not necessary. Is that a Jet comment?
Yeah, of course it's a Jet.
I knew it. I knew it. I offer you this, Jet. I offer you to have an open mind. When some people say things like this, they have an ulterior plan in mind. Does it have to be Bruce Wayne's that wrestles? Didn't Bruce Wayne have an alter ego? Could he come back with a different name? Could he come back with a different style? Could he come back with a different conscience? I don't know. Do you? You are going to have to watch and find out, good sir.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't have enough answers.
We have a new member. Lucas Bradwell just became a member to YouTube. Getting on those bennies, man.
Lucas. Absolutely, Lucas. Love that man.
We also have a question. From Jet, and it's an easy one to answer. When we get a new Ignition champ, does that mean everyone goes back to 0? No. Just the person who lost the match goes back down to 0. Everybody else stays where they're at.
Correct.
So
correct. And I would think the champion would go to 0 because at some point he may have to lose anyway. So it's almost like when you win the title, your points don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
When you lose,
all champions' points don't matter anyway.
Correct. Yeah. So not everybody gets reset. They did that one time for that Reset Royale, and that was cool. That was very, very unique. I liked how it redistributed all the cards on the table. You know what I'm saying?
Which I'm sure that'll happen again in the future as well. If it starts getting a little bit divided or a little bit crowded in a certain area, either top or bottom, they might pull a fast one on us and do some type of battle royale or elimination match or some of the sorts.
Presidente Peligro has had many, many different ideas on how to get points on the board, how to take points off the board, and how to give people opportunity to climb the board. So we watch and we check it out and we see.
All right. Well, other than that, I believe that is going to wrap everything up, except for the fact that we have a new member over on YouTube.
Another one?
Yes, Queen Vampirus has joined the RMP supporter membership.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you.
Yep, Lucas and Queen gets all the perks that go with it.
RMP superfan right there.
All right. Unless there's any other members that we know of, we're going to go wrap up YouTube, and we're going to stick with Twitch for the next couple minutes while we figure out where we're going to raid you guys over on Twitch. So, on YouTube, again, we appreciate every single one of you guys that are watching tonight, as always, and thank you for the support and becoming members as well. We have a couple members tonight, and there was also a couple members on Ignition, I believe, too. So we thank everybody who became a member tonight. Really a fantastic deal. Don't pass it up. For myself, Johnny Deathdrop, and Marky Pins over here, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. And until Sunday night, folks, for our 3-year anniversary, as always, stay safe, stay classy. Wait, what?
I counted to 3. That's what I do.
Oh.
I counted to 3, and then I told you ring the bell.
Well, the only thing that I see in my screen is a big, gigantic arm going like this, and
No, 1.
Yeah,
2,
I have too many things
3.
in front of me right now to worry about a
Ring the bell.
flashing arm in my face.
It's a ref thing. It's a ref thing. It's okay.
I figured.
It's okay.
For all of us here, thank you so much. As always, YouTube, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you on the next one.